The following is a presentation of Santa Monica College.
It's a beautiful day here in Santa Monica, California, as we welcome you to Santa Monica College, where your Corsairs men's basketball team will take on the Moorpark Raiders. And welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Nick Johnson with my broadcast partner here, Dominique Coakley. Dominic, who are we looking at for both teams?
Well, for one, for the SMC Corsairs, we're looking at Joe Robinson, who yesterday did not have the best games of his career, but I'm looking for him to do better. He shot pretty poorly from the field. I look for him to not continue that same pattern. And then for the Moorpark Raiders, we have Keon Barzagan, who is averaging almost a steal a game, who leads the team actually in that department. So I look for him to be on Joe Robinson a lot, make sure that he doesn't get going, and I expect Joe Robinson to prevent that and try to score to get his team, the Corsairs, a win.
This will be an interesting game. Now let's go to the action. The Corsairs lost the last time out last night to the LA Trade Tech Beavers in a losing effort as they lost by 2. Ball is up, and we're ready to go as Harrison Patterson won the tip-off. And the Moorpark Raiders got to do a good start, and already, right off the tip-off, an easy bucket. That is number 15, Keon Bazargan for the Raiders. The starting lineup for the visiting Moorpark Raiders tonight: Cole Mysick, Garrett Bilby, Elijah Holtz, Ethan Herman, and Keon Bazargan, who has just scored the opening bucket. And for your Santa Monica Corsairs, you have Justin Coates, Khalil Taylor, Dane Downey, Aaron Patterson, and Ernie Valadez starting at guard. And here's Valadez. The Corsairs trying to respond after a quick opening bucket from the Raiders. And Valadez with a three-point shoot. No good. Rebounded and recovered by the Raiders. That is Ethan Herman on the block. And the Raiders score right off the dribble.
A really good 3-on-3 break here by the Raiders. Two times in a row. Got easy buckets off a fast break. Really trying to come out aggressive.
That was Cole Mysick on a finishing off the fast break with a 2-point layup, and the Raiders off to a quick start, 4-0 with just 15 seconds into the game. And the Corsairs looking to respond. Justin Coates handed off to Dane Downey. Downey over to Justin Coates. Coates back to Downey halfway across the court. And Downey being guarded. Back to Coates. Coates looking for an open man. Over to Valadez. Valadez over to Downey. Downey over to Justin Coates. Coates to Aaron Patterson. Patterson to Ernie Valadez. Back to Patterson. Back to Coates. Coates with an open 3 look. And no good. Rebounded. That is Khalil Taylor. And he finished it off with a putback. And the Corsairs are on the board. Here's Cole Mysick for the Moorpark Raiders.
As I said yesterday, offensive rebounding is key. It's very key.
It is key, and a missed 3 there by Ethan Herman, and the Corsairs rebounded. Here's Justin Coates. Coates driving. Coates with a jump shot look, and he gets it. And the game is tied at 4. Already fast-paced scoring within the opening 2 minutes of the game. Here's Cole Mysick now. Mysick, the leading scorer for the Raiders, averaging 16.3 points per game. Mysick hands it off to Ethan Herman. Herman back to Mysick. And a jump shot look, and it is good for Garrett Bilby. And the Corsairs look to respond after the Raiders took the lead just a second ago. Here's Aaron Patterson. Patterson over to Valadez. Valadez got blocked by Garrett Bilby. What a play by Bilby. One of the tallest field men on the court, and the Raiders are trying to strike back. Here's Bilby. 3-point look. No good. Rebounded by Khalil Taylor. Nice rebound by Khalil Taylor as the Corsairs try to respond. Dane Downey with a 3-point look. No good as well. Rebounded by the Raiders. And that is Keon Bazargan. Over to Cole Mysick. Mysick with a long 3. No good. And it's rebounded tip. And then recovered by Downey for the Corsairs. Hands it off to Ernie Valadez as he sues it down the court. Feeds it over to Aaron Patterson. Patterson over to Justin Coates. And over to Downey. Back to Coates. Back to Khalil Taylor, who just got a rebound. Here's Aaron Patterson. Patterson driving. Patterson looking and hit off the backboard and rebounded by the Raiders. That was Ethan Herman again on the rebound. Herman selling. Herman over to... And a 3-point, no good. That was Elijah Holtz, I believe. Yes, it was. I missed a 3-point shot.
A lot of quick shots for both teams to start.
A lot of quick shots, as you just mentioned. Here's Justin Coates for the Corsairs over to Downey. Downey over to Coates. Coates Feeds it over to Khalil Taylor. Back to Downey on an inside post look, and no good. It was a little air ball right there. And Ethan Herman was there on a recovery. And now Cole Mysick swings it down for the Raiders. Mysick, one of the leading scorers of the team. Feeds it off to Elijah Holtman. Holtman. Over to Herman. Herman. Over to Bazargan. Bazargan now feeds it over to Cole Mysick. And Bilby loses it on the ball on the rebound, stolen by Khalil Taylor. Now Ernie Valadez starts to rush. And here's Aaron Patterson with a jumper. And no good. Scramble, put back, and another put back, and it goes out of bounds. And it was last touched by Kayon Bazargan, and the Corsairs will retain position on the offensive end.
If I'm the Corsairs, I'm looking to get the ball to Mr. Dame Downey early. He had a really good shooting performance yesterday.
No doubt he did. Even one of the other lesser-known players, I really don't want to say, has been really stepping up to the plate for the Corsairs, especially last night as they battled back to within two. Well, tied the game up, rather, against the Trade Tech Beavers last night, only to fall short. And as the official gets situated, we should be able to get play resumed. An intense game last night for the Corsairs, who have now lost back-to-back games already, trying to end the back-to-back two-game losing streak and get back on the right track. They've already fallen to 3-11 of the season. Here's Justin Coates. Coates over to Dane Downey, over to Aaron Patterson. Patterson back to Downey. Downey back to Justin Coates. Downey over to Ernie Valadez. Valadez over to Downey, back to Valadez. Valadez driving. Valadez almost loses the ball over to Dane Downey. Downey over there. Justin Coates with a three-point look, and it is good. Three-pointer for Justin Coates. And the Corsairs take the lead 7-6 with 15:30 left to go in a half, and a turnover. What a steal by Downey. Downey drives out to the basket, and it is a foul on the play. It will go against the Raiders. It will go as a shooting foul, and Downey will go to the line. Downey, one of the key underrated players for this team, as he will take the free throw line. He's already converted 6 of 8 from the line, averaging 75% of free throws this season. So,
yeah, free throws obviously very key, as you saw yesterday in yesterday's game.
And Downey converts one right there. As you mentioned, free throws have been really key to last night's game against the Beavers for the Corsairs. And unfortunately, they weren't able to get it done right there, as Downey converted on both attempts. And of course, and the Raiders trying to start back. Here's Elijah Holtman. Holtman over to Herman. Herman over to Cole Mysick. Long way past. Holtman over to Bazargan. And now Brandon Biltby. Over to Bazargan and Cole Mysick. Mysick driving. Mysick over to Elijah Holtman. And it is a three-point shot by Ethan Herman. And the game is tied at 9. What a quick response right there for the Moorpark Raiders.
And you see early on both teams doing the full-court press, a very common defensive strategy to start out games, to try to force the team to make mistakes.
And that's a missed jumper there by Aaron Patterson, but he was able to get it back over to Khalil Taylor. And 2 for good and 1. And Taylor will go to the line as another shooting foul against the Moorpark Raiders.
That is an extremely hard shot to make, especially against another big man. But Khalil Taylor obviously uses strength and body to body him out and convert that and one bucket.
That was real good play there by Khalil Taylor. If only we have instant replay right there to get another good look at that one. And judging by the looks of it, Taylor will only shoot 1 on this free throw attempt. And he gets it. Taylor has now converted 63.2% of free throw shootings this season, so that's a really good number right there. And that is another foul called
on number 3 for the Corsairs.
Ernie Valadez. He's going to get the
blocking foul.
And it's a blocking foul. It is on Ernie Valadez. So that's the first personal foul on the Corsairs right there. Here's Cole Mysick for the Raiders over to Garrett Bilby. Bilby over to Mysick. Mysick over to Evan Thomas, and he gets it back from Thomas. And Bilby with a three-point look, and he gets it. Good open three there for Garrett Bilby. And the game is tied once again. Here's Justin Coates. Coates for the Corsairs looking to respond after the game tying three by Garrett Bilby of the Moorpark Raiders. Now Justin Coates trying to signal his teammates to come over, but the Raider defense is holding off quickly. Here's Dane Downey. Downey loses the ball, gets it back, and it's rebounded by the Raiders. Here's Evan Thomas now. Thomas was able to get it back after an open look, and Thomas settles it down, goes it over to Garrett Bilby. Bilby. Now the quick passing by the Raiders. Here's Cole Mysek now, open three, and no good. Goes off the rim and rebounded by the Corsairs by Khalil Taylor. And Dane Downey was there as well. Now here's Justin Coates now. And Taylor almost loses the ball right there, but was able to get it back and sends it back to Coates. And Coates settles down over to Downey. Downey patiently looking, screened by Khalil Taylor. Justin Coates with open three. No good, and the ball will go out of bounds. Last touched by the Raiders as Elijah Holtz and the Corsairs will retain possession. Already a good open amount of scoring right there for both teams as a result. And you see Khalil Taylor for the Corsairs being handed off by Ernie Valadez. Now it's over to Justin Coates. Back to Valadez. Valadez looking. Valadez holding. Valadez shoots and no good. Rebounded by the Corsairs. Aaron Patterson. Patterson with a jumper and good. What a tough shot. Aaron Patterson banks it off the backboard and puts it in. What a play. And now the Raiders are trying to respond. Here's Cole Mysek now. Mysek feeds it over to his teammate. That is Kenyon Bazargan. And now over to Evan Thomas. Thomas over to Bazargan. Bazargan holding. Bazargan dribbling. Bazargan holding. Over to Thomas. Over to Cole Mysek now. Mysek back to Bazargan. Bazargan open three. And no good. Rebounded by Ernie Valadez. Valadez driving. Now Valadez driving up court. Valadez driving and shoots and no good. Rebounded. Now scramble. Now Valadez recovers. Valadez
Trying to draw the foul right there. Didn't get the call, but luckily he got the offensive rebound.
That he did right there, and of course they still have possession. Here's Justin Coates now. Coates feeds over to Khalil Taylor, and a good sequence right there. Finished off by Khalil Taylor. And now another errant pass, almost taken away, but the Raiders were able to stop right there. There's Keon Bazarkin over to Cole Mysek for open three, and no good. Rebounded by Ernie Valadez for the Corsairs, and he stutter steps on the other side, and it feeds it over to Aaron Patterson, but it looked like the ball was kicked as a result. And now a timeout called by the Moorpark Raiders as they try to settle it down, with the Corsairs leading 16-12 with 11:45 left to go in the first half. For those of you who are just joining us, welcome aboard to Santa Monica College, where your Corsairs men's basketball team will take on the Moorpark Raiders, as the Corsairs will look to end their two-game losing streak. They lost the last time out last night here against the LA Trade Tech Beavers in a losing near comeback effort, losing 72-70 in the process. And the Corsairs have fallen 3-11 as a result. So if I'm the Corsairs, how would I look to break this losing streak?
Well, I would look to get the ball to your best players right now and your most consistent players, more importantly. So Dame Downey is one of those players, and Joe Robinson, despite a very bad performance last game, I think that he can bounce back and recover from that. So you have to get the ball to your best players and, just run the offense through them.
Meanwhile, we got substitutions for both teams. For the Moorpark Raiders, it is Justice DeCourcy coming in. And for the Corsairs, it is David Wape Singui coming in for the Corsairs. Here's Downey. Dane Downey feeds over to Justin Coates, and Coates signaling for a teammate to come over to Valadez. And he was able to receive the pass over to Dane Downey. There's Downey. Back to Valadez. Three-point look, and no good. Rebounded, and it should be a loose ball foul, and the Raiders will have possession. And it's another personal foul, second team foul for the Corsairs. And the Raiders will have possession.
Looks like a substitution right here at number 23. Just came in for, I believe that's number 11 for the Raiders.
That is Ethan Herman out on the court right now. He just subbed in for Elijah Holtz. And Herman feeds it over to Evan Thomas. And a drive by, and it's good. That's Cole Mysek. Come from the corner of the court and was able to drive in with a nice hook around layup. And the Raiders have drawn back to within 2. Great finish there. Now Ernie Valadez for the Corsairs trying to respond. Over to Justin Coates. Coates signaling to Valadez to come over. Here comes Valadez. Valadez over to Dane Downey, who's been active on the court for the first half. And there's Downey. Pump fakes. Being guarded. Here's Downey. Downey over to Aaron Patterson. Patterson driving. Patterson with a tough shot. No good. Rebounded by Ethan Herman. As a result, here's Herman for the Raiders over to Cole Mysek. Mysek looking. Mysek over to Ryan McCarthy, who just came into the game. And a three-point look right there. And then a loose ball handled by Evan Thomas, but he's able to get it back. Here's Thomas now. Thomas driving. Driver's looking, and no good, but he draws the foul regardless, so he will go to the line.
Great job by number 1, drawing the foul, drawing 3 players with the dribble penetration and just putting the ball up. And unfortunately, he was able to get that foul, shooting 2.
Great awareness there by Evan Thomas for the Raiders, who will go to the line, averaging only 62% of his free throws this season. Misses that one. Overall, the season before that one, Thomas has converted 25 of 40 free throw attempts this season before missing that one. He's now 25 of 41, and he gets another chance right here. No good, so that's 25 of 42. He only has one more try. There's actually a three free throw attempts this season. Three free throw attempts at this moment for Evan Thomas. He's already missed 2 already. He's already dropped to 25 and 42 this season. This will be his 43rd attempt. And he converts that one for 3 on the free throw attempt right there. Now it's a 1-point lead for the Corsairs, 16-15 to go with just 10:09 left in the first half. For those of you who are just joining us, this is Nick Johnson here with Dominic Coakley. As you tune in the Santa Monica Corsairs taking on the Moorpark Raiders, as that one was rebounded by Ryan McCarthy for the Moorpark Raiders. The Raiders, by the way, are 5-10 of the season. Just lost last night here in a tournament play against the Bakersfield Renegades right now. Trying to look to come back in there. McCarthy mishandles it over to... And now it's a jump ball attempt by the Raiders. That's Justice DeCourcy, who's been out on the floor for the last few minutes, and he will go to the line as he draws a shooting foul. Both teams playing aggressive early on, Dominic.
Yes, they are. They're both trying to get quick, easy shots. They're trying to get their shooters going. You saw another player on the other end. Coach tried to get an alley-oop from number 21, Khalil Taylor, and that was something that we didn't see yesterday. And it looks like that's a play that they run a lot in practice, just didn't get the shot to go. But I look to see a lot of those key money plays for the Corsairs and the Raiders.
Meanwhile, Aaron Patterson just subbed in for David Mampoy Singui for the Corsairs, and it's a converted free throw attempt right there by Justice DeCourcy for the Moorpark Raiders. And the game is tied now with just almost 9.5 to go left in the first half. Here's Justin Coates now for the Corsairs as the Corsairs look to respond and retake the lead. Here's Dane Downey for the Corsairs, and over to Ernie Valadez. Valadez looking. Valadez over a low pass to Khalil Taylor. Taylor looking to drive, and he gets and misses it. And it was last touched by Aaron Patterson, and the Raiders will have possession. And we get another substitution here for the Raiders, and it is Keon Bazargan that rejoined for the Raiders, and then stolen by Khalil Taylor for the Corsairs. And Justin Coates over to Valadez, open corner 3, and no good. Rebounded by DeCourcy. Over to Ryan McCarthy now. Missed open look right there for the Corsairs, but looking to get it back. And now the Raiders are looking to jump ahead. Here's Bazargan. Bazargan over to Ethan Herman. Herman, three-pointer, and it is good. A nice open look three-pointer by Ethan Herman, and the Raiders retake the lead 19-16 with just 8:45 to go in the half. And a travel or an offensive foul call against the Corsairs.
Looks like Coates was a little too careless on that play right there. He may have traveled or carried, I'm not sure, but a little careless with the ball.
It is careless. That is Justin DeCourcy missing the shot in the paint, but rebounded by Khalil Taylor for the Corsairs. Now over to Justin Coates. Coates. Coates looking. Justin Coates over to Aaron Patterson. Patterson dribbling over to Dane Downey. Downey being guarded by 2 men. Here's Khalil Taylor. Pump shake. He goes, drives to the hoop. Misses it. And it is a shooting foul against the Raiders. And Taylor, I believe, will go to the line. First personal foul against the Raiders.
You see Khalil Taylor use that pump fake, get the defense off his feet, and he just attacked and drew the foul right there. Very good play by the big man.
Very good play indeed by Taylor as he misses that one. Speaking of Taylor, he's only converted 66.7% from the free throw line, as he's only 2 for 3 this season, and he converts that one right there. So now he is 3 for 5 to go overall in the season. That should increase his percentage. Here's Ryan McCarthy for the Raiders, and a feed over to Justice DeCourcy. And the Raiders extend their lead 21-17 with almost 8 minutes to go. Here's Khalil Taylor. Taylor for the Corsairs looking to get back into this thing. Here comes Justin Coates. Coates hands it off to Khalil Taylor down low in the zone, and Khalil Taylor being guarded, and it is a travel against Khalil Taylor. Good defensive effort by the Moorpark Raiders to draw the traveling call on Khalil Taylor, and the Raiders will have possession.
Well, just by Khalil Taylor's expression, I think he thinks otherwise. He thinks he was pushed.
If otherwise, then the officials may have missed the call right there, but no matter. Here's Ryan McCarthy. Open look jumper. No good. Rebounded by Dane Downey for the Corsairs along to Justin Coates. Coates driving. Coates to Aaron Patterson. Patterson open 3. Look, and no good. Rebounded by Khalil Taylor. Good standoff right there. And Aaron pass, and able to recover was Ernie Valadez, and he has to shake off a defender right there. Little miscommunication, but was able to recover. Here's Valadez. Tough shot, but no good. Rebounded by Ethan Herman for the Moorpark Raiders. Here's Keon Bazargan for the Raiders over to Ethan Herman. Herman shakes off Downey. Herman over to Justice DeCourcy, and he hooks up, shakes off the defender, and gets the open bucket. And the lead is now 23-17 for the Moorpark Raiders with 7:05 to go and a timeout for the Corsairs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Justin DeCourcy.
Justice DeCourcy.
Yeah. Just stepped into the game, and he got 4 quick points right there. So nice spark plug for the Raiders right here to get this 6-point lead.
It is a real fast breaker already for Justice DeCourcy, as he's really opened himself in the field with a quick open lane hookups in the paint. And it has contributed to the Raiders opening up with a 6-point lead with just 7:05 to go in the half.
Another thing too, bench points is also very key as well. When your starters aren't hitting shots and aren't playing to their routine, you always have to counter your bench players. Obviously, they're part of the team as well, and Justin understands that. And 4 quick easy points for the Raiders, and gets them to the 6-point lead.
But the Corsairs looking to respond, and here's Justin Coates with the ball, soothing down, looking for his teammates to get up ahead. Here's Coates now. Coates over to Downey. Dane Downey, one of the key contributors from last night's game in a losing effort. There's Downey now. Downey over to Valadez. Open 3 look, and good. Downtown goes Ernie Valadez, and the Corsairs are back to within 3. Here's Ethan Harmon for the Raiders, and here's Ryan McCarthy now. Ryan McCarthy defended over to Justice DeCourcy. And it's a traveling call on DeCourcy. And the Corsairs will have possession with 6:35 left to go in the half. For those of you who are just joining us, you are witnessing great basketball action here as the Santa Monica Corsairs looking to end a 2-game losing streak here today against the Moorpark Raiders, who are 5-10 of the season, by the way. Here's Dane Downey for the Corsairs. Downey a hook up, and good. Good touch shot by Dane Downey, who's been real active in this half. And now the Raiders trying to respond. Here's Keon Bazargan. Bazargan over to Jacob Gorbetta, who just subbed in the game. There's Ethan Herman now. Herman over to Gorbetta. Gorbetta, 3-point look. No good. Rebounded by Aaron Patterson. Patterson feeds it off to Valadez, who feeds it over to Justin Coates. Coates Coates looking. Coates settling down. Looking for a screen. Screen from Aaron Patterson. Justin Coates driving. Justin Coates looking. Coates no good. Rebounded by the Raiders as Keon Bazargan. Bazargan driving. Bazargan being defended by Justin Coates. Bazargan over to Ryan McCarthy. And an open man look. And McCarthy receives the ball back. There's Ethan Herman. Three-point look. No good. Rebounded by Dane Downey as a result. Corsairs trail by 1 with 5:30 to go. 23-22 Moorpark as the Corsairs look to take the lead. Here's Justin Coates now for the Corsairs. Coates settling down. Coates waiting for him screen from Khalil Taylor. Didn't go so well. Here's Coates with an open three-pointer, and he gets it. A three-pointer from Justin Coates, and the Corsairs retake the lead with 5:08 to go. Great sequence from the Corsairs to give them a 2-point lead. And the Raiders try to respond. It's Justice DeCourcy who just unbelievable move, shakes out the defender, floats the ball up, and puts it in by himself.
That's 6 points for the big fella right there coming off the bench. Very key, very key.
Here's Khalil Taylor with an open three-pointer, and he gets it. Back-to-back threes for the Corsairs, and it's Khalil Taylor getting an open look. And the Corsairs retake the lead 28-25. Here's Keon Bazargan over to Ethan Herman. And that is Jacob Gabetta, and he responds with a three of his own.
A three-point barrage right here as the Corsairs, I believe, called a timeout. Very, very, that's 3 straight three-pointers in a row. Obviously, they feel confident.
Corsairs nailed the last 2 three-pointers before Jacob Gabetta for the Raiders nails it down one of his own to tie the game at 28-all with 4:29 left to go in a half. And the Corsairs, as you just said, spent the timeout right there to slow things down a bit and try to swing back, momentum back in their favor.
And early on in this quarter, as you see with 4 minutes and 30 seconds left, you can see the differences between the coaches' strategies. The coach for the Corsairs letting his starters play and get into rhythm versus how the Raiders are using their bench players and substituting for the starters. So very 2 different approaches to the game here early on in this first half.
Different approaches, different results for both teams in the end. And we'll see how this goes for the rest of the first half with 4:29 to go. Tied at 28. Corsairs have 4 timeouts remaining, and the Moorpark Raiders still have all 5 remaining. This will be an interesting finish to close up the half to see who gets the upper hand coming into the second half. Here's Justin Coates for the Corsairs. Coates being defended by Cole Meisick, who just checked back into the game. Here's Coates now. Coates over to Valadez. Ernie Valadez being guarded on the wing by Keon Bazargan. Valadez feeds it back to Justin Coates, calling for Patterson to screen the defender over. Here's Justin Coates now with a drive and a hook, and a finish by Justin Coates. Corsairs retake the lead, 30-28. Tight notch contest here in Santa Monica College as both teams looking to get an edge. Here's Cole Meisick for the Raiders, back to Keon Bazargan. Bazargan driving. Bazargan over to one of his teammates. Now Cole Meisick now, and it is a travel call against Cole Meisick, and another time, and a substitution rather. Thank you. And it is David Mapoi Singui that just checked back in for Ernie Valadez. And the Corsairs will have possession with 3:40 to go. There's Coates settling down for his teammates. Coates over to Dane Downey. Downey over to Ernie Valadez. Valadez with a wide open 3 and no good. Smash scramble and saved right there by the Raiders. And that is Nicholas Becerra. Here's Becerra missing a rebound, but of course, the Raiders were able to get it back. Now Elijah Holtz feeds it over to Keon Bazargan. Ryan McCarthy, Cole Meisick to Holtz, to Meisick, to Ryan McCarthy, pump fakes. Nice pump fake right there. Now fakes it back to Cole Meisick, open 3 look, and he gets it. Nice jump shot 3 by Cole Meisick, and the Raiders retake the lead, 31-30 with 2:50 to go. Great back and forth action here at SMC. Ernie Valadez being guarded by Keon Bazargan over to Dane Downey. Downey dribbles. Downey being defended by Ryan McCarthy. Downey fakes it off, gets a jumper, and he gets it. Corsairs retake the lead, 32-30. 32-31, please excuse me. And the Raiders try to respond. Here's Ryan McCarthy now. McCarthy over to Cam Bazargan, Cole Mysick. Quick passing by the Raiders as they look to take the lead. Here's Ryan McCarthy over to Cole Mysick. Mysick, jumper. And no good. Rebounded by the Corsairs. It's Dane Downey. And it is a foul against
number 15.
Keon Bazargan on the foul. Guilty party right there. And the Corsairs will still have possession.
Great defense by the Corsairs right there. Really good communication, running the zone defense and making sure that every man is covered. And obviously defense, communication is key.
Defense is key, as you just mentioned right there, Dominic. Now Ernie Valadez got the ball knocked out, and that was Cole Mysick that knocked it out. Here's Mysick now driving, and he gets it. What a play. Cole Mysick being a two-way player out there. Steals the ball, gets it to his teammate, receives open court pass, and just finished it off with a nice touch play.
And that's the third time they've got on a fast break and converted, so that's their one of their strengths right there.
Justin Coates missed the jump shot right there and is rebounded by Elijah Holtz. Over to Cole Mysick driving. Mysick driving and is blocked on the play. Good hustle. That is Justin Coates and Aaron Patterson on the play. And it is enough to prevent a jump shot, but the Raiders will have possession. And Mapoy Singwe just checked himself out of the game. Subbed in by Khalil Taylor. Just good to see the big man back in action. And the Raiders try to capitalize on this 1-point lead, and that is Cole Mysick missing the jumper. Rebounded by Dane Downey. Here's Downey now. Downey rebounding. Downey driving. Downey draws the foul, and he will go to the line. Good play by Downey.
Well, as a great scorer, you always know that when your shot's not falling, you try to get to the free throw line, and Dame Downey understands that. Second time, forcing the action, drawing the foul, and then he shoots two.
No shot because Aaron Patterson and Ernie Valadez moved simultaneously, so that will not count. Missed timing right there, so Downey will try again. And he's good on that attempt, so the game is tied at 33 with 1:15 to go. Here's Cole Mysick for the Raiders. The Raiders try to respond and retake the lead. Here's Keon Bazargan over to Ryan McCarthy. McCarthy over to Mysick. Mysick back to McCarthy, back to Bazargan. Bazargan back to McCarthy, back to Mysick. Good quick passing right there. Here's Elijah Holtz with a three-pointer. No good rebound. A good rebound by Khalil Taylor. Here's Justin Coates now. Coates driving. Coates with a defender on him. Coates settles down. Waits to get back into the rhythm. 48 to go. We'll see exactly what happens with the final seconds in the quarter. Or in the half, rather. Here's Khalil Taylor receiving from one to Justin Coates. Here's Khalil Taylor with a hooker. No good. Rebounded Aaron Patterson.
And over the back by Patterson right there. Too aggressive to get the ball.
Loose ball foul on Aaron Patterson, and of course, the Raiders will have possession with just 37 seconds to go. Game tied at 33 here at Santa Monica College. We're witnessing greatness action here, ladies and gentlemen, to see who will get the upper hand and walk away with a victory. It's Cole Mysick for the Raiders settling down. Back to Ryan McCarthy, back to Mysick. And Mysick receives one from Bazargan. Quick passing by the Raiders. Here's Keon Bazargan, back to Ryan McCarthy, back to Mysick. Cole Mysick, back to McCarthy. McCarthy looking back to Bazargan, three-pointer, and he gets it. What a play by Keon Bazargan, and that may do it in the half if the Corsairs can respond with final 5 seconds to go. Here's Justin Coates. Coates being screened. Coates being defended. Here's Justin Coates, and it is jump ball, no good as he just throws it up there. And the half comes to an end, and the Raiders lead 36-33 as time runs out for the first half. Good action here at Santa Monica College as we reach halftime with the Moorpark Raiders leading 36-33. The Corsairs, as I mentioned earlier, trying to end a 2-game losing streak, coming off of a heartbreaking loss at home to the Trade Tech Beavers on the very final seconds of the game. Corsairs trailing by 3, so what do you do if you're Santa Monica?
Well, we'll see how the strategy works for the Corsairs, but you see how, as I mentioned earlier, the two different strategies of the Raiders using their bench players and the Corsairs not using their bench players, letting the starters run for that entire 20-minute half. So, on one end, it makes sure that they are fresh, that the bench players are fresh, that they're well rested, so they can have that energy for the second half. So we'll see how that goes out. I mean, obviously you have Michael Fry and Joe Robinson, who are key players that I named at the beginning before the game, that are key players. Obviously, Joe Robinson, a great scorer, and Michael Fry, a great rebounder and a great post player. So hopefully those players are fresh and they can give this lead back for the Corsairs as we end 33-36 in the first half.
Should be an interesting second half here. I'm Nick Johnson with my broadcast partner, Dominic Coakley. We'll be right back for the second opening of the tip-off for the second half. We are getting underway. There's Justin Coates for the Corsairs now. Coates settling down. Corsairs try to tie the game up and end their 2-game losing streak. Over to Downey. Dane Downey dribbles and misses it. First top, no good. Rebounded by Garrett Bilby. And that was Keon Bazargan that got ran into by Tyler McClain, who just checked in to the game.
Tyler McClain, who I want to highlight, had a really huge game in that fourth quarter. He hit a bunch of big shots and some key assists as well. So we look forward to seeing him do that the same.
He had a big key three-pointer that tied the game before the Beavers entered with a game-winning free-throw shot, and that was Garrett Bilby that nailed a jump corner three-point shot. But
really good defense by Michael Fry right there. Just better offense by number 10.
That was Garrett Bilby with a 2-point jump shot right there because he was on the line right there. And there's Tyler McClain for the Corsairs. Corsairs trying to respond and then a 2-game losing streak. Here's McClain with a three-pointer. No good. Rebounded by Aaron Patterson with a jump shot of his own, and he nails it. Tough shot there by Aaron Patterson, and he's able to get the Corsairs their first bucket of the second half. For those of you who are just joining us, you're witnessing good basketball action here at Santa Monica College as your men's Corsairs basketball team take on the Moorpark Raiders as the Corsairs try to end their 2-game losing streak. Moorpark Raiders already at 5-10 this season. That's Cole Mysick with a three-pointer, and he nails it. Good sequence right there for the Raiders, and Cole Mysick gets his first three-pointers of the second half. Here's Tyler McClain now. McClain, one of the highlights of last night's game in a losing effort against Trade Tech. There's Aaron Patterson. Patterson feeding back to McClain. There's Dane Downey. Downey back to McClain. Back to Justin Coates. Coates with an open three. No good. Put back by Dane Downey with just a tip shot and was able to put it in. And the score is 41-37 Moorpark. There's Keon Bazargan now for the Raiders over to Cole Mysick and over to Elijah Holtz and Ethan Harmon. There's nobody there, but Cole Mysick was able to get the ball back. That was miscommunications right there. But the Moorpark Raiders able to get it back. And here's Elijah Holtz with an open two-pointer. No good. Rebounded by Michael Fry. Michael Fry had an impressive game. He had 19 points and a career-high 17 rebounds. A double-double in last night's losing effort. And Justin Coates settling down for the Corsairs. Justin Coates. Coates with a defender, screened by Michael Fry. Here's Coates now with a hooker. No good. Rebounded, recovered. Back by Michael Fry. Matt scramble. Michael Fry trying to battle out. Michael Fry got blocked, and he draws a shooting foul right there, and he will go to the line.
Sometimes stats don't always show the full story. Michael Fry averaging, I believe, around 10 points and 8 rebounds for the season. But you see, stats don't always tell everything. As you see on the play right there, tremendous energy to get that ball and put it back up for 2 free throws right here.
For Michael Fry, he is averaging 51% of his free throws of the season as he misses one right there. And now we get a sub right there. Out comes Dane Downey, and here comes Joe Robinson, the team leader in points per game, averaging 17.6 per game as he gets his first night of action here on the court. Not an impressive shooting game for Robinson last night, just only 6 of 20 from the floor and 2 of 10 from beyond the arc. Hopefully we can see a better result from him than what it was for him last night. Here are the Raiders with Ethan Herman over to Cole Mysick, and here's Elijah Holtz. Holtz turning over, stolen by Justin Coates, and here's Tyler McClain, and he loses the ball. A hustle right there by Keon Bazargan, and he drives now over Aaron Patterson, and he nails it.
That's the steals leader for the Raiders right there, showing you why he is the steals leader. Able to pickpocket McClain right there and bring it over for the easy deuce.
That was Keon Bazargan right there, the team leader in steals per game. with averaging almost a steal, tied for first in 0.6 points per game, and we get a whistle. And it will be against the Raiders, and the Corsairs will have possession right there. Mad scramble in front over to Michael Fry out in the paint. Fry got blocked by Garrett Bilby. Bilby and Fry gets it back, but turns it over as a result to Cole Misek. 43-37 lead for the Raiders with just 16:25 and a half, and it's an easy layup right there by Cole Misek. And the Raiders extend their lead 45-37 with 6:21 left to go and a timeout by the Corsairs.
And timeouts, obviously coaching, this is where it comes into play. When your team is down, you got to watch for those timeouts. You see how we are 4 minutes into the game, or into the second half, rather. And the Raiders have not called a timeout, but yet the Corsairs have called already 2 of them. You can get 5 for each half. So you need to watch, as the coach, you need to watch for those timeouts, because obviously you need them in order to get back into the game. And, obviously this is a game full of runs, and timeouts are good to stop runs by the other team. So as a coach for the Corsairs, you need to watch out for that.
And you get a look at the Moorpark Raiders talking things over with head coach Jared Link, and then get a look at the Corsairs trying to talk things over with head coach Joshua Thomas, who mentioned to me last night that once opposing teams start to produce a run, that's when the Corsairs start to lose confidence. And we're seeing like another sense of that as we did the previous night against Trade Tech. So what are they looking to hope to turn this thing around here?
Well, you're hoping that your teams are able to keep the pressure under wraps and not burst. Obviously, pressure bursts pipes, but as an athlete in games, you need to obviously anything can happen. You could be down by 10 or 20, but if you still got time left, anything can happen. So you need to just make sure you give it your all. And if you lose, you lose, and if you win, obviously it's a good thing. But obviously this is all learnings for them. They're still learning. They're still trying to progress themselves to become great players. And we'll see more of that.
Yes, we'll do see there. Here's Tyler McLean for the Corsairs. If the Corsairs look to end this run and get back on track. McLean settles down. McLean feeds it to Aaron Patterson. Patterson stutter steps. Patterson feeds it to Justin Coates with a crossing screen right there. Here's Coates, screen from Michael Fry. Here's Justin Coates with a 2-pointer. No good, hits the rim, but rebounded by Tyler McLean. McLean motions for Joe Robinson over. McLean sets it down. Here's Michael Fry, who had a big game last night. 19 points, 17 rebounds, both careers highs for him of the season. Here's back to McLean now. McLean dribbles, McLean drives, McLean, and Michael Fry finishes it off. A tip put back by Michael Fry as the ball looked to be out of the rim right there, so Michael Fry will get credit for that bucket right there. Here's Keon Bazarkin for the Raiders. Dribbles off Justin Coates right there. Bazarkin over to Garrett Bilby. Bilby to Cole Misek. Misek, who's been acting on the floor tonight. Here's Garrett Bilby with an open 3-pointer, and he gets it. Already, Garrett Bilby had a pair of 3-pointers in the first half, and yet he connects on another here in the second half. And the Raiders lead 48-39 with almost 15 minutes left to go in the half. Here's Tyler McLean, receives one, opener to Justin Coates, who loses the ball but able to get it back. Here's Justin Coates now. Coates with a screen from Aaron Patterson. Coates over to Michael Fry, wide open in the zone, and he rebounds it, loses it. Rebounded by Aaron Patterson, and he puts it in. So now it's a 7-point deficit for the Corsairs to overcome, and the Raiders will look to respond to that. Here's Ethan Herman now. Herman over to Cole Misek. Misek over to Keon Bazarkin. Bazarkin dribbles off Justin Coates. Bazarkin with Michael Fry on him. Here's Garrett Bilby with another 3-point look, and he gets it. Garrett Bilby, another 3-pointer. That's his second of this half and 4th or 5th of the game already. Garrett Bilby's been active from beyond the arc today.
And as a coach, you like to see a guy who can stretch the floor, can shoot threes, so he can give other people room to operate.
And indeed, it's Justin Coates for the Corsairs, and Michael Fry had a battle for the ball right there with Ethan Herman right there, and it's a foul against the Raiders, a reach-in foul, and the Corsairs will retain possession. And we get a sub, by the way, for the Raiders, and that was Elijah Holtz that just checked out, and subbed in by Justice DeCourcy. For the Raiders is Joe Robinson, feeding it off to Tyler McLean for the Corsairs. McLean shakes off a defender, hands it over to Dane Downey, who had to reach for it. Downey looking. Downey over to Tyler McLean. McLean driving. McLean over to Aaron Patterson. Good feed right there from McLean to Patterson. And another 2-point bucket right there. Good sequence on the play, and the Raiders will look to respond to that. Here's Keon Bazarkin. Bazarkin over to Ethan Herman. Herman over to Justice DeCourcy. DeCourcy shakes off Aaron Patterson. DeCourcy over to Ethan Herman, over to Cole Misek. Misek over to Garrett Bilby, who already has 3-pointers tonight. Here's DeCourcy. DeCourcy on Aaron Patterson. Patterson on DeCourcy. And then Keon Bazarkin, open 3 look right here, and he gets it. A barrage of threes already by the Moorpark Raiders, and the Corsairs look to be in trouble on that category.
As the Corsairs, you got to be sure to stop the bleeding, not let this lead get more than 15 as the Raiders lead by 11 right now.
11-point lead for the Raiders, and the Corsairs look to end the run right there. As I mentioned before, once the opposing team gets on the run, and an errant pass right there by Joe Robinson, and Dane Downey loses it as a result. And here's Cole Misek for the Raiders, and he gets it. Miscommunication right there on errant pass leads to a turnover, and the Raiders get another bucket. It's now 56-43 Moorpark with 12:49 to go, and another timeout for the Corsairs.
If you're the Corsairs right now, you need to make sure, as I said before, you need to be able to stop the bleeding, but it starts with defense. The Raiders, have gotten a lot of open looks, and rather than that last one was a contested shot, more like a heat check, more like. But you need to make sure you be able to start your defense and be sure to lock down. And obviously, defense turns into offense. So if you start your defense right, then you can turn into offense, and then that will help close this lead a little more, and they can catch up in this game.
As you get a look at the Corsairs, is Joshua Thomas, first-year head coach for the Santa Monica Corsairs, looks to settle things down as a result. Time and time again, as we explained the problems the Corsairs have had for pretty much all season, and they've only had 3 wins so far. Once opposing team starts with the run early, they tend to lose confidence right there. So hopefully the Corsairs will be able to break out of this slump, end the run, and get a run of their own and see where they can go from there. Here at Santa Monica College, we have been described as the #1 transfer school rate in the entire U.S. #1 community college, not only in the state of California, but all the U.S., where you can transfer to high-profile schools like USC, UCLA, and even out-of-state universities like Boston College, LSU, the University of Miami, and all the other big-name universities around the country. So
all Division I schools.
All Division I schools, exactly. And as we see both teams here, they're going to get situated, and maybe we can see these young kids go up to Division I schools one day and see if they can go from there and become big stars one day. Here's Aaron Patterson, as Patterson looks to finish off the run and over to Khalil Taylor, and he finishes it. Nice sequence right there, capped off by Khalil Taylor, and it's now an 11-point deficit once again. Trailing 56-45 with 12:30 to go in the second half is Ethan Herman for the Raiders as they look to respond. Here's Cole Misek over the Ryan McCarthy, who just checked in. Here Ethan Herman, quick passing once again for the Raiders. Just and a collision right there as Cole Misek was driving to the basket and collided with Khalil Taylor as a result, and Taylor looks shaken up right there.
Very hard fall right there, and Khalil Mack was unfortunately the fall guy on that one. Looks a little shaken up, but he's trying to walk it off. Very, very tough guy right there, Khalil Taylor, that is.
Taylor took one right there on the arm, and he looks to be okay and shaken off as the Corsairs will retain possession as a result of a turnover. And another turnover right there, and that is Garrett Bilby on the bucket. And I think that will not count as Cole Misek, who forced a turnover, will.
Andy Valdez is saying that the guy stepped out of bounds when he stole the ball, so, arguing that shouldn't have been a basket. But it looks like they will count it as the Raiders lead 58-45 Raiders.
I see, because I don't think there's an overrule right there as the official is waxing the floor right there to get this whole thing situated. Corsairs deficit looking bigger and bigger as this game goes on and hoping to get back in the swing of things. So let's see if they can start a run of their own right there. Ernie Valadez passes over there. Justin Coates, who throws it to Aaron Patterson. Patterson driving. Patterson looks to start a run back over to Justin Coates, who settles down. Coates looking. Coates trying to settle down. Waiting for his teammates to motion. Over to Khalil Taylor. Taylor shakes off the defender. Here's Ernie Valadez on the three-point line. Valadez looking to make something happen. Screened by Aaron Patterson. Patterson gets the ball from Valadez over to Justin Coates. Coates shakes off the defender. Coates driving, and finishes it. Great awareness by Justin Coates as he finishes off with a drive of his own.
Very crafty move by Coates right there, doing a double clutch.
There's Ethan Herman over to Cole Mysek and Ryan McCarthy. Back to Mysek. We've seen this the majority of the game. Quick passing for the Raiders can generate some offense right there. And we're seeing it right now. Here's Ryan McCarthy with an open three-pointer look, and he gets it. A barrage of three-pointers from the Raiders have been killing the Corsairs defense as a result.
And as the Corsairs, you got to be sure to keep your head up. You know, you are down by a lot, but great professional athletes, they don't mind that. They say, yo, let's play. Let's see what we can pull out of this.
Here's Dane Downey for the Corsairs as they look to respond, and it's another steal, this time by Ethan Herman of the Raiders. Over to Garrett Bilby. Bilby stop steps and finishes off with a bucket. And the Raiders are starting to pull away from this one, and it is another timeout for the Santa Monica Corsairs as the game is starting to roll away from them.
You see the big guy, number 10, running the break for the Raiders. Number 10 for the Raiders running the break and getting that easy bucket to go. All off of good defense by the Raiders.
And that was Garrett Bilby on the finish as the Raiders extend their lead 63-47 with 10:50 to go in a half. Completely a little disorganized, if I should say, for the Corsairs as they try to get back into the swing of things as they just called another timeout. So they only have one timeout remaining left in this game while the Raiders still have all 5 left in this game. So where do you go from here if you're the Corsairs?
I mean, if you're the Corsairs, you need to, keep your intangibles strong and make sure that you don't waver and make sure your hands don't get sweaty, backs don't get tight because, we've seen in the NBA, we've seen a ton of leads we've seen a ton of people come back from leads that are bigger than this one. So if you're the Corsairs, you need to make sure that you keep your head strong. And like I said before, it all starts with defense. You have to keep your defense strong because obviously the Raiders, they are killing it right now. They're shooting the lights out right now. So you have to make sure as the Corsairs that you lock down on defense, communicate, and if they do that, then they should be able to close this lead.
A big deficit right here for the Corsairs to overcome as they're trailing 62-47. It's a 15-point or a 14-point lead rather for them to overcome, and let's see if they can get it back. And what a move by Justin Coates to shake off the defender. He's over to Khalil Taylor. Taylor back to McLean. Tyler McLean for the Corsairs over to Justin Coates. Coates looking. Feeds to the Tyler McLean. McLean with a three from beyond the arc. Over to Khalil Taylor. Taylor shakes out the defender. Here's Tyler McLean at the three-point arc. Goes to drives in, makes a bucket, and a whistle blown, and that could be a foul right there on the Raiders.
Another thing for the Corsairs that you want to have too, you want to try to give momentum. So a big, three-pointer, an alley-oop, something of that nature will absolutely give them a momentum, and it could start a run for them.
And McLean shoots a free throw right there as we get substitutions out on the field as Ryan McCarthy will check out for the Raiders.
And Joe Robinson comes in for Coates.
Yeah, we see Joe Robinson out on the court as the Raiders convert on the second free throw attempt as a result. And now the Corsairs look at another deficit right here, trailing 63-49 with 10:20 to go in the game. So where do you go from here? Here's Ryan McCarthy for the Moorpark Raiders. McCarthy feeds it over. And you get another shot. Here's Cole Mysek now. Mysek over to Justice DeCourcy, and he finishes it off with a driving feed from Cole Mysek.
And you see for the Raiders, they're still running a four-court press, still keeping the pressure on.
And Joe Robinson tries to feed it to Khalil Taylor for an alley-oop, but that was a good play by the defender right there. And another turnover. Here's Ryan McCarthy for the Raiders over to Evan Thomas, who checked into the game. Evan Thomas now. And the ball goes off for Khalil Taylor as he tried to knock it out. Went off his foot, and the Raiders will retain possession. Wide open game for the Raiders as the Corsairs look to be out of sync, trailing big right here. Trailing by 16 with just almost 9.5 to go. 9:30 to go. 65-49 for the Raiders. And it's finished by Justice DeCourcy and got fouled on the play, so he will go to the line.
Michael Fry trying to get the block right there, but the big man right here trying to body him and drew contact and got the bucket and the foul.
Good awareness by Justice DeCourcy, who has been very active in the paint for most of the game, and he looks to shoot it for a free throw right here. Converts on that attempt, so he is 1 for 1. And DeCourcy is converted, like I said, 66% of his free throws this season. And here's Tyler McClain trying to drive to the basket, and he got shooked off as a result, but the Corsairs will retain possession.
Really forced it right there with McClain, forcing trying to draw the foul right there.
Oh, there's Michael Fry now. Fry with a hook shot, and the basket should count, and it will. As he got fouled on the play as well, Michael Fry will get to the line.
And like I said before, as a great scorer, you need to make sure that when your shots aren't falling, you try to get as many points as you can. So you get to the line, get closer to the basket, and Michael Fry understands that as he converts that free throw.
Fry, the tallest man of the group out there, as a freshman here for this team, as I said, came off a career high 19 points, 17 rebounds per game, and he's coming on. Here's Justice DeCourcy as he got shook off, and it's a traveling call on DeCourcy as a result, and the Corsairs will have possession. A little too much by Justice DeCourcy as he tried to shake off Michael Fry on the play, but no result. Here's Dane Downey from the Corsairs. Here's Tyler McClain now. McClain settles down as he tries to draw us in a run. McClain looking. McClain over to Michael Fry, who had a big game last night, as I mentioned. Here's Dane Downey now. Dane Downey. Downey looking to get active in this half. Here's Michael Fry. Fry driving. Fry over to Joe Robinson. Open three. And no good on his first shot attempt of the game, and no good. And a call again. And we have a whistle right there as we try to figure out what was up. And it'll be against the Corsairs, and the Raiders will have possession. There's Evan Thomas for the Raiders over to Ryan McCarthy. McCarthy over to Justice DeCourcy, and a block. Good hustle by Khalil Taylor as he blocked that one. What hustle right there.
Really good chase down block, doing his best LeBron impersonation, coming all the way down the court and getting that block.
Good chase down block by Khalil Taylor, who's been active for most of the game, rather. And we have a whistle on the play as the official tries to separate DeCourcy from Michael Fry, two of the big men out on the court today for both teams right there. Here's Ryan McCarthy for the Raiders. The Raiders trying to extend their lead. Here's Justice DeCourcy. DeCourcy draws the foul as he went for the shot attempt, but he will go to the line. It's going to be an interesting matchup here. You have Justice DeCourcy, number 22 for the Raiders, going up against Michael Fry, number 0 for the Corsairs, and we have a timeout called by the Moorpark Raiders with 8:27 left to go.
And I mentioned as before, the Corsairs want to make sure that they don't waver during this while they're down by 16 currently, but the Raiders want to make sure that they don't crumble as well. Obviously, they have a great lead right now, but people do tend to get careless when things are going their way, so they want to make sure that they don't crumble and let the Corsairs have a chance to get back into this game. But also the Corsairs need to do the same as well, make sure that they don't waver. So the pressure is alike on both sides for different reasons.
68-52 with 8:27 to go as you get a look at the Corsairs, trying to see what small tasks they need to do to get back into this game, to see exactly what they can do to avoid a 3-game losing streak here. They've only had 3 wins this season, already fallen to 3-11 as a result from last night's loss to Trade Tech at home. 8:27 to go. For those of you who are just joined in, we welcome you to Santa Monica College, where the Santa Monica Corsairs take on the Moorpark Raiders. The Raiders, who are 5-10 this season, going up against the Corsairs, who are 3-11. As you see, Justice DeCourcy making a free throw attempt, and he makes it on that one. And meanwhile, we get a substitution on the court. Here we come. Ethan Jarrell subbed in for Dane Downey.
For the first time, as I'm out at.
Yes, for the first time. Some of the big name players, as I mentioned, getting first time maxing out on the court here in the second half. Here's Joe Robinson. Robinson loses the ball, and he turns it over as he receives the pass, as he tries to drive for it and loses the ball out of bounds, and the Raiders will have possession.
Really uncharacteristic of Joe Robinson right there to lose that ball. Really good dribble penetrator, but lost the ball in that one.
Now the Raiders trying to build some more momentum corners. Cole Mysick for the Raiders over to Evan Thomas. Thomas over to Ryan McCarthy. McCarthy back to Elijah Holtz, who just checked in. Elijah Holtz going up against Ethan Jarrell. Stuck on the rim right there, but rebounded by Joe Robinson. Here's Joe Robinson now. First time action here in the second half. Robinson shooks off the defender, and no good. Rebounded, caught by Michael Fry. Fry over to Aaron Patterson. Patterson makes a jump shot and gets the bucket. 69-54 with 7:45 to go in the game, and looked to be a collision there between Ryan McCarthy and Joe Robinson, as Robinson looked to steal a pass attempt right there. We're going to see more of Joe Robinson in this half right here as the Corsairs look to get back into this game. As I mentioned, he leads the team averaging 17.6 per game as a result, and we'll see exactly what's going to happen here. Here's Ryan McCarthy for the Raiders. McCarthy dribbles over to Cole Mysick. Mysick here to Elijah Holtz, to Justice DeCourcy. DeCourcy on with Michael Fry on him. DeCourcy shakes off the defender, and it is a traveling call going up on Justice DeCourcy, working on Michael Fry right there.
Bad turnover right there, trying to go to work, but did not have the footwork to keep it in play. But the Corsairs get the ball now.
A break for the Corsairs as they look to turn it around with 7:14 to go. You see Tyler McLean holding on to the ball with Ryan McCarthy of the Raiders on him. Over to Michael Fry now. Michael Fry, who had a big game last night, 19 points, 17 rebounds, and a loss to Trade Tech. He feeds it over to Tyler McLean as he tried to shake off the defender. McLean with a nice shake around but couldn't connect, and rebounded by Evan Thomas for the Raiders. Evan Thomas over to Cole Mysick, their leading scorer of the season. And then back to Thomas, over to Ryan McCarthy, and over to Elijah Holtz. Holtz with Aaron Patterson on him as Elijah Holtz tried to shake it off and gets it over to Ryan McCarthy as he got knocked down. Here's Ryan McCarthy now with Joe Robinson on him. McCarthy over to Evan Thomas. Thomas to DeCourcy. Back and DeCourcy with Aaron Patterson on him. No good, but able to draw the foul, and DeCourcy will go back to the line with the Raiders leading 69-54 with 8:34 to go.
And you can clearly see the strategy for the Raiders right here, giving the ball to Justin DeCourcy, who in the first half was a spark plug for them coming off the bench and getting them this lead. So let's see if he can, and he misses the first free throw, but still having a good game nonetheless. But let's see if he can continue his great night or his great afternoon.
And meanwhile, we get substitutions for both teams as Evan Thomas checks out for Garrett Bilby. Will be checking out as Garrett Bilby subs in for him for the Raiders, and Aaron Patterson checked out as Dwayne Downey checks in. So we'll see what goes from there, and DeCourcy nails on the second attempt right there. And then we get another substitution for the Moorpark Raiders as DeCourcy just checked himself out for Nicholas Becerra, who's seen limited action here tonight. But we'll see where we go from there. Becerra is tied with Garrett Bilby for field goal percentage throughout the entire season. Both tied for number one on the team with 50% average of field goal percentage. There's Michael Fry over to Ethan Jarrell, who misses a three-pointer and rebounded by Keon Bazarga. Here's Bazarga with Dane Downey on him now. Here's Ryan McCarthy. McCarthy over to Bazarga. Bazanga driving. Bazanga makes it with Ethan Jarrell on him, and Bazargan was able to jump in and extends the Raiders' lead. 72-54 for the Raiders with 5:47 to go in the game, and the Corsairs need to make something happen here. Here's Michael Fry over to Ethan Jarrell, to Tyler McLean, to Joe Robinson. Robinson, who's only missed 2 shots already. Here's Tyler McClain now. Over to Ethan Jarrell, who's open in the lane. Here's Jarrell driving, and Jarrell connects. Ethan Jarrell with his first bucket of the game after coming off the bench. And the deficit is a 72-56 deficit for the Corsairs to overcome. Here's Elijah Holtz over to Garrett Bilby. Bilby over to Keon Bazargan. There's Ryan McCarthy now with Tyler McClain on him. Here's Bazargan. Bazargan with Ethan Jarrell. Screened by Garrett Bilby. Here's Bazargan driving with Jarrell on him, and he finishes it off. Good play by Keon Bazargan. And the Raiders extend their lead 74-56 with 5 minutes to go.
One thing I noticed for the Corsairs is that they don't have any big men in the paint, and I think the Raiders are recognizing that. Well, good job by the Raiders, because they're forcing a lot of switches and forcing the big men to come out from the paint. And the Raiders are making sure that they have no big guys in the paint, so they can get easy buckets. And I think that's what their strategy is. Obviously they have big men who can stretch the floor and shoot threes, so obviously the Corsairs have to watch out for that as well. But when you have no big man in the paint, it opens the lane for easy layups and backdoor cuts, and that's how the Raiders have gotten to this lead. A lot of easy layups at the basket with no big man for the Corsairs down there. So I think as the Corsairs for the coach, I believe, obviously I'm not him, but I believe you have to tell the big man to make sure you watch out for those backdoor cuts and those easy lanes from the basket, and make sure you clog them.
The Raiders have doing a good job at exploiting that type of area. The Corsairs have been exposing themselves to a degree with 4:59 to go, trailing 74-56. And the Corsairs have already spent their last timeout just a minute ago, so they're all out of timeouts, while the Raiders still have 4 remaining. So it's an unlikely break for the Corsairs that they spent their last timeout here, and we'll see if
versus to 4 timeouts still for the Raiders. So by the way it looks like they're sitting calmly and just laying this one right out, as we have 5 minutes left in the second half.
4:59 to go. Corsairs trailing 74-56 as they look to get something here. With Joe Robinson on the court handling the ball. Here's Joe Robinson with a screen from Michael Fry. Robinson with a 3-pointer, and no good. He's still held pointless as a result, and a whistle on the play. And it will be Michael Fry going to the free throw line. And a shooting foul
on number 11, Elijah Holt.
Yeah, Elijah Holtz will be called for the shooting foul, and Michael Fry will go for the free throw line. From Michael Fry, he is averaging 51% of his free throws, as I believe I mentioned earlier. And as I mentioned before, he had a real big game last night against the Trade Tech Beavers, as he misses a free throw attempt right there. 19 points with a career-high 17 rebounds. He's second on the team in rebounds per game with 7.7. Number 1 is Jamad Norwood, who is averaging 8 points per game, who is inactive today due to an illness, if I'm concerned. And Norwood is second on the team in points per game at 14.3. So that's a big loss right there for the Corsairs. Here's Ryan McCarthy for the Raiders. McCarthy with a screen from Bilby. Here's Keon Bazargan. Bazargan, who's had a good game tonight. Here's Nicholas Becerra. Becerra back to McCarthy. McCarthy over to Bazargan. Bazargan with Joe Robinson on him. And Bazargan loses the ball, but is able to get it back. Over to Ryan McCarthy. McCarthy takes out the defender. And too many dribbles right there on McCarthy. Yep, too many dribbles on McCarthy, and the Corsairs will have possession. Here's Tyler McClain for the Corsairs as Corsairs look to start a run of their own, trailing 74-57 with 4:10 to go. Here's McClain now with a jump shot, with a nice hoop layup right there, and the Corsairs get the bucket. That was Tyler McClain on the finish. Here's Keon Bazargan now. Bazargan over to Ryan McCarthy. McCarthy, who's been acting on the floor tonight. Here back to Bazargan. Bazargan over to McCarthy, over to Elijah Holtz. Holtz over to Becerra. Here's Garrett Bilby, who's been active today, and he gets another one. It's been a real interesting game for Garrett Bilby, who already has a dozen three-pointers into this game, and yet he gets another one right there, and the Raiders lead 76-59. And Tyler McClain tries to respond with a three-pointer, but no good. Rebounded by Garrett Bilby right there, who's having a great game tonight. Here's Keon Bazargan over to Elijah Holtz to Nicholas Becerra. Becerra holding, guarded by 2 men. Becerra looking to hold on, and a whistle on the play. And it's another timeout, I believe, called by the Raiders. Or is it? Because from what I'm seeing, the Raiders still have 4 timeouts remaining unless they just use one right there. And of course, they still have no timeouts remaining. They used their last one a few minutes ago, and they're trailing 76-59, a big deficit. 17-point deficit, I might add, with 3:17 to go. If you're the Corsairs right now, and based on the way the team has played after an interesting first half and somewhat falling apart in the second half, like, what do you have to be thinking right now?
Well, right now I got to be thinking that, you know what, we're down by, a very bad margin right now, and I would have to say at this point, you still try your best, but also you test out your plays that you do in practice. So any plays that run the best in practice, that people know the best, then you run them right now and see how they work in a game situation. Because obviously you practice for the game, but also in situations like this, you might as well just say, you know what, let's just run some plays and see how they work against a team they looks like they're going to beat us, but it looks like we could just test out these plays and see next time when we play how well these plays could work. So at this point, it's almost like experimentation. At this point, you just experiment on plays, and you still try your best. Obviously, anything can happen with 3 minutes and 17 seconds to go, but you just try your best and just run your money plays basically.
That we will look to see forward from the final 3 minutes and 17 seconds left in this game, as the Raiders will have possession on this play as plays resume. Here's Keon Bazargan. Right now guarded by Justin Coates, and Bazargan being guarded. Bazargan drives it over. He's over to Nicholas Becerra. Over to Gilbert Bilby and loses the ball. Good play by Joe Robinson. Over to Ethan Jarrell, and an errant throw by Joe Robinson as he feeds it off to Ethan Jarrell, who wasn't looking. So miscommunications right there, and the Raiders will have possession on that play. And meanwhile, we get a substitution on the Raiders. It's Jacob Grabetta subbing in for Elijah Holtz, as Holtz looks to be done for the game as a result. And Garrett Bilby finishes off with a tic-tac-toe play right there. And the score is now 78-59 for the Raiders.
Big man doing it all, scoring from outside, scoring from inside in transition. Great night for Big B.
And then you got a 3-pointer by Joe Robinson on the play. So that's the first bucket of the game for Joe Robinson after missing 2 or 3 of his first shots attempts in this half. Corsairs trailing 78-61 with 2:28 to go. And what looks to be a game that looks to be out of reach as a result with just 2:28 to go.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Here's Keon Bazargan, one of the key players tonight for the Raiders, and he steps out of bounds as a result. And the Corsairs will have possession, I believe. That's another timeout called by the Moorpark Raiders with just 2:25 to go. Well, as soon as play resumes, the Corsairs will have the ball back.
Really just a bad shooting there for the Corsairs, missing shots that they normally make. As we saw yesterday, they were making shots that they normally make, and that's what kept them in the game last night. But, just a bad shooting night. You got to shake it off. This game does look out of reach, as you mentioned. And, you just have to, take the loss. Just take every loss as a learning experience. And then you just come back next game and, you just keep on trying your best. You just stay true to yourself. Keep working hard, and then, you can start winning games.
A matter of identity is what the Corsairs are looking for this season. As I mentioned, they're only 3-11 this season, and 2 or 3 of those wins have come at home this season. And the last victory they had was just a couple weeks ago, and a thrilling come from behind, overcoming a 16-point deficit over the Santa Ana Dons just a couple weeks ago here within the final 2 games of 2017. And so far to open a new year, it hasn't looked anything but that. Here's Garrett Bilby for the Raiders over to Nicholas Becerra. Becerra had the ball taken away by Joe Robinson. Robinson, who had a three-pointer night to have his first bucket of the game, misses that one and rebounded by Becerra. Here's Keon Bazargan now. Bazargan with two defenders on him over to a wide-open Garrett Bilby. Bilby already has a couple buckets tonight. Back to Becerra. Here's Ryan McCarthy over to Bazargan. Over to Jacob Grabetta. No good. Stolen by Joe Robinson, and a whistle on the play. And head-on collision right there. So I think that will go down as a foul. And third personal foul against the Raiders. And Joe Robinson will go to the free throw line as a result. And there's Robinson now with a free throw attempt, and he converts that one. Robinson has converted 76% of his free throws tonight. Third on the team in free throw percentage. Number one, as I mentioned, in points per game, averaging 17.6 points per game. Number one in steals per game, averaging 1.4 a game. But tonight has not been the night for the Corsairs as they are on the verge of dropping 3 in a row. Here are the Raiders now. The Raiders with Jacob Grabetta over to Garrett Bilby. Bilby to Nicholas Becerra. Here's Ryan McCarthy with an open three, and he gets it. And that's another three-pointer for the Raiders.
And that has been the story of tonight's game. Just, great passing by the Raiders. And, they've just been hitting their shots. So, the Corsairs, need to fix their defense up a little bit as Michael Fry converts that bucket.
Some pride and some resilience from the Corsairs is what they need with the final minute 14 to go in the game as they're on the verge of dropping 3 in a row as a result. Raiders leading 81-65. Over a minute to go. Here's Garrett Bilby for the Raiders over to Keon Bazargan. Bazargan driving. Bazargan to a wide open Ryan McCarthy. Will he convert another? No. Rebounded by Justin Coates for the Corsairs, and he got tumbled and is hurt on the court. He's writhing in pain right now. That looks to be an awkward landing, and as he's having trouble to get up.
Grimacing in pain right now.
A little unfortunate right there. Awkward landing as a result. Trailing 81-65 with 56.2 to go. That's not a sight that anybody wants to see as the medical staff are attending to Coates right now. If you're the Corsairs, you have now officially lost 3 in a row, judging by the score. So where do you go from here? Break. All right. Back to the broadcast booth, everybody. Now it is Nick Johnson. Let's try to go to a commercial break. And now as players resume as a result, as Justin Coates was able to walk off on his own power as he got shaken up right there. And we're going to see Michael Fry shoot at the free throw line as a result. As he was previously, or was it Coates fouled on the play, so I believe Michael Fry will shoot the free throw attempts for him. And we'll see where they go from there. It's only a 1 free throw attempt as a result, and Fry misses that one. With 53 seconds to go, the Corsairs have now lost 3 in a row, and a convincing performance for the Raiders, who, for the story of this second half, a barrage of three-pointers that the Corsairs were unable to stop as a result of this huge margin. If you're the Corsairs, you have to think of something to get back on track right here, as the conference play will begin to resume sometime soon. And then it's a rebound scramble right there as Garrett Bilby was able to get back for the Raiders. Ron McCarthy for the Raiders tries to settle it down with 23 seconds to go as the Raiders will try to play keep away. A 1 second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. And Garrett Bilby overs to Ryan McCarthy as they look to wind the clock down. And that will be all, ladies and gentlemen, as the clock ticks down with the Raiders leading 81-65. And that will do it. That's the final score, 81-65 for the Raiders. as the Corsairs have now dropped 3 in a row. All of them have been at home. And welcome you back to the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Nick Johnson with my broadcast partner here, Dominic Coakley. Dominic, what do you think has been like the overall theme of this game?
Well, I think for one, obviously the Raiders, they had a bench that obviously helped them get that lead. In the beginning it was very neck and neck. Both teams were very balanced, but their bench was one thing that really helped the Raiders separate themselves from the Corsairs. The coaching strategy for the Corsairs, the coach, let the starters play out, and fortunately for them, they're able to get it tied at the end of the first half, 28-28. But it's really kind of a tale between two halves. After the first half and coming to the second half, the Raiders just seemed like they wanted it more. But also for the Corsairs, I feel like free throws actually hurt them a lot, because if they would have converted more of them, then they would have been able to close the game out more, and maybe they wouldn't have wavered and panicked in that last few minutes. But obviously this is a learning lesson. But I think free throws is definitely what hurt them the most.
Now, the Corsairs as of now have lost 3 in a row. All of them have been at home. If you're head coach Joshua Thomas, what do you have to be saying to your players right now, and what do you have to be thinking?
Well, if I'm the coach, I gotta say, you know what, man, we're gonna get down. We're not always gonna win every game, but you just, like as I said, you just take every experience you take every losing experience as a learning experience as well. So, if I'm a coach, I'm saying, don't be too hard on this. Obviously, we're still learning, you're still a player, you're still growing. So, you just keep on growing and keep on learning, and then they'll be fine. They have a lot of great talented players, Michael Fry, Joe Robinson, who again drops in and have the best of games. But you know what? I believe he will step up. Obviously, it's not how you always, you're not gonna, be great every game, but it's how you bounce back from that. So I believe he will do great in the coming games.
Well, not only him, but the rest of the Corsair as well. So apparently we're out of time here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Nick Johnson with my broadcast partner here, Dominic Coakley. We will see y'all next time. Have a good day, everybody.